All right, let's start this thing. I know it's a Pepsi Max, whatever the fuck they're calling it now. 111 for April 5th, 2020. Red Rising. And note, I have no notes whatsoever today, so it might suck. I've been reading a lot of books lately, and I want to at least do like a short review of them, so at least there's a record that I did this. And yes, I'm wearing a Sunday NFL outfit. Trust me, it doesn't fit in whatsoever with what I'm talking about today. Red Rising. So this is two things. It's kind of a, what is it, YA, young adult fiction. It was recommended to me as books similar to like Game of Thrones series, but hopefully not as long. And it fits in with like a Hunger Games kind of theory. So we're in Mars, like, who knows, 100 years, 200 years in the future. And the 16-year-old protagonist is already running the drill that gets all the helium-3 out of Mars because they're trying to terraform. And even though their lives suck, well, you know, they're setting up for future generations. But we can't have that because his wife, who's also 16, decides to become a martyr for the cause of freeing their people because they can't get a good break on anything. Like, they always get the most helium-3 every month, and they still can't get the benefits they're supposed to get. But they're living in these terrible conditions. So what does he do when his wife dies? He ends up burying her, which is illegal. So he gets hanged as well, because that's what you do in Mars when there's like half the gravity of Earth. You hang people. But what the story becomes is he comes back from the dead. And by the way, that's a recurring theme. I feel like YA 101 and kind of like world building fantasy 101 was just a little too blatant in this book. But he comes back from the dead, and with the help of some people, decides to take down the quote unquote man. And it's all about the scientific advances and how everybody's bodies have been augmented to the point where they're like gods, and they have wings and they have special abilities, and he gets all these abilities. And he's kind of like that main character in these stories, and it's very unlike Game of Thrones, because like Game of Thrones, you have like, oh, this guy's the hero, then the hero dies. In this book, this guy's the hero, and you know there's 3 books, and you know somehow he's going to make it through, and he's going to win every time. It's pretty impressive world building because you're creating kind of a world on Mars, but it's also taking in a lot of story tips from previous stuff. And I just, you know, it was one of those books where I'm like, oh, I have to read 12% of this every day to get it done. And I did, and I'm glad I did, but I don't think I'm going to read any more in the series. So I'll have to look up the actual author because I don't have it in front of me. So TV, wife and I decided to get a month of Hulu. So we're watching as much as possible. Hi, Melanie. I am doing this on Facebook and YouTube, so hopefully I'm not missing any commentary, but I probably am. So we watched the show Shrill, starring A.D. Bryant from Saturday Night Live. And by the way, when you get on Saturday Night Live, it's a big deal, but Lorne Michael owns your shit for the rest of your life because he's a producer of this. Shrill is based on the book by Lindy West about a lot of her experiences of being an overweight woman on the internet. Not so good. I forget if it was 6 or 8 episodes. It's kind of like mostly comedy, part drama. It's actually set in Portland, which is cool because like every TV show is, we're in Florida, but actually it's filmed down the street from me in Atlanta. So it was kind of cool to have a show that's actually on location, which is a different experience as well. Enjoyed the show. It's nice to see a show with a lead actress who is overweight, not the traditional, like, this is the lead actress. And her story isn't, you know, like, oh, she wins and, you know, she overcomes stuff. And sometimes she's not a good person. And I think anytime your TV lead doesn't have to be a total anti-hero like Breaking Bad and actually can be a good person and can fuck up, I think it's good. And season 2 is already out. So we'll see if we can get through with it in a month. Okay, the last one, and this is from Deborah, since I sent a video to Deborah and Jeannie yesterday of me grilling, and she's like, is that a big green egg? And it's almost like, so you just noticed I have eyes. I've had this big green egg for like 5 years, I thought I'd tie this into the whole coronavirus situation. So most of us who are fortunate are staying at home and not ever going outside. So that means we are starting to run out of supplies. And in my case, my wife was nice enough to order me some more very specific charcoal you need for this big green egg, which is like a Kamado style Asian kind of smoker. It's basically a grill and it needs charcoal. And we're out of charcoal. What do we have in our closet that had been sitting there for a decade? We had a bag of like that Kingsford self-lighting charcoal. And I was like, well, I don't know. Can I use that on my very nice, expensive grill? Well, the only problem with it is not that it's going to destroy the grill. The problem is all the charcoal is coated in lighter fluid. And you know why stuff on a smoker tastes good? Because it smells like that wood smoke. And this stuff, get a little bit of, lighter fluid aftertaste, but not much. And that's the point of right now. We have to MacGyver our way through situations, and not, this is like privileged ways. We have tons of food. I just got another large load of booze, so I'm set with beer for the next, I don't know, month or two. But sometimes you do have to substitute, and sometimes you have to do things that aren't perfect because you're hoping that maybe this is a pretend sacrifice so that everything's better for everybody. And my whole concept behind the 111 was for each part to be 1 minute, but I see I've already been recording for 6. It's more like 222. But it's my show and I can do whatever the hell I want with it. So thanks for watching, listening. This is kind of an experimental thing anyway. And I was like, ooh, maybe I'll do it every day, but I still have to come up with something every day. But I think maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to find the fine line between actually like writing out everything I'm going to say, like I do for the show, and just coming off the cuff, which I don't think necessarily works either, because there are some details that are nice to have. Anyway, thanks for watching. Since this isn't necessarily going to be audio, maybe I'll plug it in the next Zachalage cast, because I have a couple potential guests for the week, but nobody yet. So we'll see how it goes. And if not, I guess I'll have to talk to myself for a while. So I'm going to say thanks, and I'm going to click off on the Facebook side of this, and then I'm going to click off on the StreamYard YouTube side. Aw, nobody's there. Aw. Anyway, thanks. It's been fun, I think.